Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, my friends, it's been a long time. We shouldn't have left you without a dope pod to step to. It's your boy, Richie Fike. I'm here with my boy. I forget how I used to do this. I'm a 40-something father of two, and you're a teenage wasteland. How does it go?
Genius.
Yeah, okay. Well,
one who has academic dominance.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. But hey, listen, it's been a long time. It's been since July 6th that we have found time to carve out some space to do this podcast. And for all of you guys that text and email and leave messages on Instagram and tell me at church, we want you to know we've heard you and we're sorry. We love doing this podcast. It's just, gosh, our life has been crazy, right?
Yeah, it's been very insane. I get to stay at school till 6 until about a week or so ago for football.
Yeah. And
then even after that, it was still crazy because of your tennis schedule.
Well, tennis and ministry and my sister has moved into our house with us.
Yes.
And that's taken up some space and some time. But I think it's mostly been about your football schedule, honestly.
Yeah, that's been the big thing.
You've been, since school started in late August, you had to be at practice super early, 6:30, 7 a.m., something like that, because you guys do football practice before school.
I got to school at 7, worked out for an hour, went to school, and then worked out till 6:30 or 7, then got home, did homework, slept.
Literally, you're like a zombie for this whole fall. We'd see you, you'd be like, how you doing? And you'd just make like sounds. Be like, okay, cool. You okay?
Don't eat brains now.
Right, don't eat the brains. Speaking of sounds, man, your voice it's got a little bit more depth to it.
Thank you.
You said thank you.
Thank you.
Keep that low, man. The ladies like that. The ladies like the smooth chocolate. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, man, it has been a long time. I want you to talk a little bit, Justice. Tell us about your football season, since that's really the reason why the podcast is kind of taking a little bit of a hiatus. But tell us about your experience, what you learned, and how'd you guys do?
Okay, so our JV team, which is the team that I am on, went 6-3.
Oh.
And only lost 3 games.
That'll get you to a bowl.
So we were second in the division.
Whoa.
And the winner was Grapevine, who has always been the powerhouse in our division.
Is that a private or a public school?
Private.
Yeah.
We're TAPS, so we play all private.
Oh, I see.
So we had to play Grapevine, and our varsity team went 6-4, made it to the playoffs, and got blown out 70-0 by Cedar Hill, which, if you don't know, is Deion Sanders' team.
Ooh, prime time.
And pretty much he walks into a player's room, says, "Hey, you're going to Cedar Hill." And they go to Cedar Hill.
This is like the argument that I had with Nate about Nick Saban. We were talking about how, I said that Ed Ogeron is the greatest recruiter in college football. And he was like, Nick Saban. And I said, dude, Nick Saban doesn't recruit. He just shows up to your house, knocks on the door, and people say yes before he even asks a question. Mm-hmm. That's not recruiting.
It's a child's game for him.
Yeah.
And, if you don't know, Deion Sanders is the offensive coordinator for Cedar Hill. They've had 3 straight championships over 3 different head coaches. They're the biggest powerhouse in 5A TAPS football.
Uh-huh.
And every single starter on their team has a D1 scholarship.
Whoa.
He has kids from California that just came to Cedar Hill this year.
That's amazing. So, but Florida State's trying to get him to be their coach, right?
Yeah. Florida State wants him.
So maybe that'll open the door for you guys to be number one. You'll be able to beat Grapevine if he leaves.
Yeah, it would be Grapevine, Brook Hill, and us.
But he's there because his kids are there? Is that why?
His son is a 5-star QB. He made some amazing plays on that Friday night.
Yeah.
But their line was dominant.
And that was the varsity team played them. Did the JV team play them?
No, it was playoffs.
But the varsity team played them in the playoffs, and the final score was
70-0.
Woo! Man.
We almost scored 2 times.
You fought for every yard, didn't you?
Miles did.
It's a game of inches. So what do you feel like you learned this football season?
Hard work is dedication, and dedication is hard work. So you need to work hard to show your dedication.
Look at you. Tell them some more. I like to encourage people when they're preaching. You know.
Thank you.
Preach.
You're the one guy that's like, oh yes.
I like to hear it. I like when I'm preaching. I like for somebody to say, "Amen." Yes. Tell them. You better say it. Like I like stuff like that. You know. Sometimes I'll say that to Freeland when he's preaching, and he just looks at me like, "Why? What's wrong with you?" Yeah, it may be. Yeah. Anyway, so football season was worth it.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, and
we'll do it every. I would do it every year that I could.
It's amazing. That's amazing. You are in better shape today than you were at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
You've lost some weight. You've trimmed down. You've also gotten taller.
Thank you.
But you're not as tall as me yet.
Yeah.
And we talked about, just so you listeners can know, we talked about a little rule that we're going to have.
It's really not going to be a rule. It's going to be what he wants. But you see, the taller person always ends up to decide what happens.
See, that's exactly what the issue is. So my rule for Justice is that the moment that he becomes taller than me, every conversation we have, he has to sit down and I get to stand up because I can't be looking up at my son. I can't do it. It's not going to happen. Especially if he's like, "Dad, I need some money." But you better sit down and ask me. You better not stand up and tell me you can get money from me. You better get a job with your tall self. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm not for it. I'm not for it. What else has been going on? Honestly, so much has been happening in pop culture that we thought, once again, we just feel so bad that we left you all with such time away from us because we have so much to offer you. We know that. We have so much insight, so many thoughts. And so, we thought we would start this next segment just by reminding you of all the things that we have missed, all the things that have happened in our world, in your world, because we want to tell you our opinion of all those things, because so much has happened since we've been gone. We've been gone from the podcast. We're stumbling on. It's for you that we come to the mics since we've been gone. Come on, man, that was professional there.
You bombed that. That's a 10 out of 10 right there.
Thanks, buddy. All right, so let's talk about it. In the world of sports, let's start there. Actually, no, let's do movies. In the world of movies, the last movie that we talked about was Spider-Man Far From Home. We gave you our thoughts on that.
And then right after we did the podcast, it broke that Sony was moving away from MCU.
That's right. And we could have told you our thoughts on that. But alas.
We missed it.
Yeah, we missed it. So, what are your thoughts on that, Justice? I think since then they've made another agreement to get him back into the thing. So.
Now he's back in it, which is cool. But I think it would have been really amazing if he. My idea was if he stays, that's amazing. If he goes, just recast the character, start over, and say that the public media made him something new.
You know what's funny? I think because at your age, you're just accustomed to a new Spider-Man
every 10 years.
But I don't know if you are, though. I wonder how you're going to respond when you're in your 20s and 30s to having to watch the Spider-Man story again. Because, I've seen the Batman story.
That's the thing,
5
the Batman
times.
Story.
I've seen the Spider-Man story. I don't know how many times.
3 times.
The Superman story. They're going to do this with Iron Man pretty soon. They're going to have a new... But it'll be a new Iron Man that's continuing on with the MCU, and I think that's okay. So, anyway, all right. We saw Godzilla. Scale of 1 to 5, what would you give it?
4. Or no, 3.
3? I give it a 2. It was stupid. The fight scenes were awesome. Everything else was dumb. Toy Story 4.
5.
5 out of 5.
Too much nostalgia.
You cried.
I did.
You cried in Toy Story 4. I want everybody to know that. I'd give that one a 4 out of 5. Disney doesn't miss. Hobbs and Shaw.
1.
Now listen, we talked about Hobbs and Shaw all year, like we were looking forward to it, and then you went and saw it without me.
Yeah, football.
Yeah, that really hurt me.
I'm sorry, it sort of happened. I had no say in the matter.
And if we could have done a podcast, I think the whole podcast would have been about how much you hurt me.
Well, I mean, you went to go see it with Mom out in wherever city
Only to spite you because you had already seen it first.
I give it a 1. I hated it.
A 1 out of 5?
It was too long, too lengthy, not enough action, too much talking. I didn't care about the villain. It was a terrible mess.
Wow. I would have given it like a 4 out of 5. I really liked it.
I didn't like it.
See, it would have been a good podcast. It's your fault. All right. You didn't see Joker, but I did.
I wish I saw it.
I don't want you to see it.
I would love to see it. Please, somebody, if you can, kidnap me and take me to it.
No, I don't. It was dark and
amazing,
not
beautiful.
Not in the sense of like sinful or evil. It just was like
with the blood all over his face.
It was like and the
that
violence.
looked awesome.
The violence in the movie was it came out of nowhere and it was always shocking. And it
Spoiler alert: how he killed his mama.
Wait a second. What are you doing? You haven't even seen the movie.
I've seen enough talks about the movie.
Okay. Anyway, I give it as an artist, I would say that it was a story very, very well told. I would give it a 5 out of 5 from the perspective of a well-told story. As far as a movie that I would ever want to watch again, 0 out of 5. I never want to see it again.
Dang.
Yeah.
Josue won't stop talking about it.
Josue loved it?
Josue loved it.
Oh, so he's more interested in talking about that movie than playing me in tennis.
Yes.
Yeah. Josue, if you listen to this, you're ducking me, and you know you are. Okay, how about Jojo Rabbit?
Never saw it.
I saw it. It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be.
What was it about?
It's about this little boy in war-torn Germany.
Oh, the Germany one.
Yeah. And the kid basically has an imaginary friend, and his imaginary friend is Hitler. And then he finds out that his mom is stowing away a Jewish girl. So he has to wrestle with, everything that he's been told his whole life is that Jewish people are evil and dirty and rats and they're aliens and they have tails and they have horns and they're, like, literally the stuff that he's been taught as a kid is so wicked and ugly. And then he gets to know this girl and he falls in love with her. And I won't say what happens after that. But the thing I liked about it was how creative it was and how it really made you wrestle with a lot of really interesting emotions. The thing I didn't like about it was they didn't do enough. I didn't think they did enough to push against the idea of Hitler. They really kind of almost made him a hero in the movie, and I didn't like that. So anyway, good movie, 2 out of 5.
Wasn't that directed by the guy that did Ragnarok?
Yeah. So there's some quirky humor in there. Okay, It 2. You didn't see that one either?
Didn't see it. Would love to see it.
Okay.
You think I would like to see it?
I don't know. I don't know how you are with horror. Because you got freaked out at The Quiet Place.
I thought it was cool, though.
Yeah, but you were scared and you were mad at me for making you watch it.
For like the first half of the movie.
Yeah.
I liked it at the end, though.
Okay.
I think my thing with horror films is I don't want to see it at the beginning, and afterwards I love it.
Here's what I would say to you. It 1, great movie. Really well done. It 2, whatever. Like, I didn't like it. So I would give it a 1 out of 5. A couple more that you didn't see that I did. Ad Astra with Brad Pitt. Ooh, he's so dreamy. He was really good in that movie. It was kind of a slow-paced movie, but it was good. And then Zombieland 2. Zombieland is one of my favorite movies. I made you watch it. You hated it.
I loved it.
No! You complained the whole time.
I complained, but then I loved it at the end. It's how I feel about some movies.
Okay, anyway. Zombieland 2, give it like a 2 out of 5. Sequels are hard to do, so... Alright, that's our movies. I'm watching a show on Netflix called Living With Myself that's really fascinating. It's got Ant-Man in it, Paul Rudd.
Oh.
So far I haven't seen anything that's like super objectionable. There's a lot of language in it, so it's not really like for teenagers or whatever. But a pretty good show. All right, so let's talk about sports.
Can I talk about what TV show I want to watch?
What TV show do you want to watch?
That one that we saw while we were trying to watch a video that's on Prime. Do you remember what it's called?
No.
I forget what it's called, but it's that Amazon Prime show about them trying to find out 9/11 or whatever.
Oh, yeah, it's got Darth Vader in it.
Yeah.
Not Darth Vader. What's the guy?
Kylo Ren.
Yeah, Kylo Ren. Yeah. I don't know what it's called, but it looks good.
It does.
That's interesting, because I don't... Yeah. All right.
I love history and all that stuff, so that's probably why I'm interested.
Right on, man. All right, sports. So much has happened in sports, especially in our little world. It's felt like our world has been kind of the epicenter of some great sports stuff. Can we start with... Can we start with our LSU Tigers?
Yes.
10-0.
Yes.
Joe Burrow's going to win the Heisman.
Yes.
Lil Clyde is amazing.
First round draft pick.
Roll Clyde.
He's going to be like that Josh Jacobs kid.
Yeah.
In Bama.
Defense is terrible.
Mediocre.
Defense is mediocre, but the offense is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time in 8 years, we freaking beat Bama. Let me tell you something. I could not have done a podcast that night. I couldn't put words in sentences that night. I would just be like, like
you were the weirdest human that night.
I don't know, man. And then, it was so funny the next morning. I put this on Instagram, but the next morning, it just cemented once and for all why I love my wife, your mother. She woke me up at like 6:45 the next morning. She tapped me on the shoulder, and she said, babe. Huh? What? She said, we beat Bama. And I was like, I love you so much, girl. I'm about to just... And then I can't say what happened next.
Magazines.
Yeah. Anyway, so we beat Bama, dude. All right. So talk to me. I mean, I'm going to let you give a prediction. Your prediction right now will not affect what happens, so I'm not going to be mad at you. I'm curious to hear what you think. What is your prediction for the remainder of this college football season? Do you think LSU wins it all?
First of all, Ohio State beats Penn State this week by 30 at minimum.
30?
They get ranked number 1 after this week and after beating Michigan, and then after that beating a one-loss Minnesota team. And then they get ranked number 1. We play Clemson. Battle of the Tigers. Battle of Death Valley. Who gets it? We win. We go on to the playoffs. Alabama sneaks in at 4. Or if you want, you can say Oregon or Utah gets in. It's a toss-up between those 3. And whoever gets in gets smoked by Ohio State. The national media is saying Ohio State, Ohio State, Ohio State. Alabama sneaks up, wins by 10.
Wait a second. You're saying Alabama beats Ohio State?
No, Ohio State beats Alabama.
Okay.
Ohio State is then stated as the team that's going to win it all by national media.
And so who wins the battle for Death Valley?
We do.
LSU wins the battle for Death Valley. So now it's LSU versus Ohio State, which would be delicious.
It would be the dream matchup for every single network.
Unbelievable. And the game would be in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. I went to the last LSU-Ohio State national championship game.
I would love to go to a national championship LSU game.
Yeah, I'd rather watch it on TV. Having done it, I prefer our television.
Yeah, but experience.
Yeah, well, when you're grown and you have money, you should do that.
Christmas gift idea, giving you ideas here.
Rolling cool. One. Here's an idea that's worth $7,000. What do you think about this, Santa? I think you need a job.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got LSU and Ohio State in the final, and let's just leave it there for now.
Let's leave it there. I don't want to give away the finals.
Because when we get there, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay. I disagree with you. First of all, I think Oregon will beat Utah, and Oregon will be the 4 seed. They're still going to get smoked by LSU, who will be the 1 seed, because our resume is better than Ohio State's. And if they beat Penn State by 30, it proves that Penn State wasn't that good of a team. Every team that we've played that has been top 10, it's been tight games.
Other than Texas.
Why? No, Texas. But Texas, we injured Texas so bad.
We did not injure Texas. Texas got injured after us, and then also the Florida
we softened them up, dog. We softened them up for all those injuries.
Florida also, because of that, they're not even ranked in the top 10. Auburn isn't ranked in the top 10. All of our top 10 victories are not currently in the top 10.
But they've had losses since us. That's the problem.
Yeah. Here's what I'm saying. The resume of Ohio State.
Yeah.
It's Chase Young. Chase Young's the most dominant player in college football in the past 5 years.
Defensive player. I think Joe Burrow might be the most dominant player in college football. The dude's unstoppable.
Chase Young is, you remember Trevor Lawrence last year in the Alabama game?
Yeah.
He's that on steroids.
So the whole thing is going to be about Sadiq Charles versus Chase Young. That's going to be the whole game.
We're doubling Chase Young, triple
100%.
teaming him every play.
Yeah. All right, cool.
It's going to be short passes at Allaire, 134, 200
But
yards.
this is my sneaky prediction, and I don't like it, but I think it's possible. Sneaky prediction. LSU loses to Georgia in the SEC championship and gets the 4 seed, and we have to play Ohio State in the first round. It's kind of what I feel like might happen. I don't want to predict it, but I feel like it might happen. And if that happens,
I think you're forgetting Georgia lost to a South Carolina team that right now is 3-8.
I'm not worried. I think Georgia's real good. I think they're real good.
And you know what happened in that game? Jake Fromm, who couldn't pass the ball, threw 3 interceptions to a lengthy cornerback.
Yeah, but it was
I don't
raining.
know about you, but
it was raining.
It wasn't raining.
It was cold.
No, it wasn't raining.
It was foggy.
Wasn't cold. It wasn't foggy. It was bright as day. He just
there were dogs on the field.
Wasn't any of
Cats
that.
were running all over the place.
There's no excuse for Jake.
There's a lot of pretty women in South Carolina.
That's true.
No, I was putting it in the same category. Anyway, all right. So I got LSU as either the 1 or the 4 seed. And I think it will be Ohio State Clemson, which would be a great game. I think Ohio State wins, and I think it's Ohio State LSU. I'm right there with you. I think we get to the same place, Ohio State LSU, either way. So that's where I'm at. Okay, so that's college football. How about, the NBA season is upon us. We are 15 games in, and all of a sudden, there is a new LeBron James, and his name is Luka.
Well, I mean, LeBron still is the best player in the league, so.
Yeah, but this guy, Luka, is going to be the next great player. Like, it's
you can
like
say Larry Bird, but not LeBron.
It's like Magic and Larry, Jordan, LeBron, Luka. Like,
what about Kobe?
He's next in the lineage. Yeah, you're right. Kobe's between Jordan and LeBron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm saying. There's been a lot of dominant players. I don't think he, talent-wise or in any way, athletically stands up to LeBron. LeBron's the most talented player to ever play the game, and that's just a fact.
I don't think but like Larry Bird wasn't like a physical specimen. He just was ridiculously talented.
But I mean, the dude, you know what he did every day?
Who?
He ran laps around that gym for hours.
I'm sure
and
Luka's
hours.
doing something.
I mean, here's what I'm saying. Luka is going to be the next Larry Bird, but saying he's the next LeBron is terrible.
Well, I think it's racist. I think it's racist to say that he's going to be the next Larry Bird.
I think you're forgetting.
Just because he's white, he can't be the next LeBron?
No, LeBron is a one-of-a-kind type of player.
Yeah.
He's a dozen...
Okay, so I'm not saying that he plays like LeBron. I'm saying he is going to be dominant.
The next face of the league.
He's going to be dominant in the way that LeBron has been dominant.
Yeah, you can say that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And people are going to want to play with him. Like the way guys wanted to play with LeBron.
Porzingis already wants to play with him.
Guys are going to... Like this next free agent crop is going to be looking at Dallas as one of the destinations.
Giannis is in this next free agency crop.
That's ridiculous. So...
Ben Simmons hit his first 3.
He hit it. Ben Simmons hit his first 3. The Nuggets are for real again. Although I think we need a trade.
We're the 4 seed, correct?
No. What is that about? We're like 9-3.
Yeah, aren't we the 4 seed? The Rockets.
We just beat the Rockets.
The Clippers and the Lakers are ahead.
Did you say them Lakers?
Yeah, because they're now the best team in the league.
I was talking to Travis Ryan today, and he told me he's watching every Lakers game, and like he's all in on it. And I was like, okay, well, it's gonna be the Nuggets and the Lakers at the end. So
I got the Lakers.
That hurts me. You're not a real fan.
No, here's what I'm saying. LeBron has playoff experience. You give him a player that he can just throw it up and he's going to get it either way.
Yeah.
Because realistically, it's going to be him on Jokic. I think Jokic can score on him, but when it comes to defense, we don't have...
LeBron's going to be on Jokic?
No, Davis.
Yeah, AD's going to be on Jokic.
Yeah, I think Jokic is going to have a little bit of a hard time in the post with AD.
He doesn't go to the post.
Yes, he does. He does the post move.
He plays on the perimeter unless he has to.
He does his hook.
Yeah, once in a while.
His hook's his most definitely.
You know what? Move. That's fine. I don't want you to say another word about the Nuggets.
Can I keep my statement?
No, let me tell you
this
something.
Isn't how arguments work.
You take the Nuggets name out your mouth.
I'm not mentioning them. I'm mentioning how LeBron will just get a law player, and that's the most dominant thing that he could ever have. And then also, Jokic doesn't have the athletic capability to keep up with a player like Davis.
He doesn't need it.
Just based off of jumping.
He doesn't need it.
Have you seen what happens with Clint Capella? What happens with Rudy Gobert?
Well, yeah, we beat him. We beat Capella last night.
Because he has 2 ball-dominant players. I'm saying when you get LeBron, who's going to know how to pass, unlike Harden and Westbrook, it's going to be a very hard matchup. It's a matchup the Nuggets can win because our bench is the most dominant bench of the league.
That's right.
If we can get 10, 12 points ahead by the fourth quarter, we win.
That's what I say.
But I don't have trust in the starting lineup to stop Davis. Davis is going to get 30 points a game against us.
Wow. It hurts me that you say things like this.
There's still ways to win. It's just with Davis and LeBron, you have to be up 10, and you have to keep scoring.
Okay. All right. I got the Nuggets winning it all. All right.
With that.
That's right.
And also, if we run into the Sixers, I think we're doomed.
Oh, the Sixers are trash.
No, they're the lengthiest team.
They got 2 of the all-time you can have them players. Who?
Embiid and Simmons?
No, I like Embiid. Simmons and what's the other guy's name? The 3. Who's their 3?
Tobias Harris?
Yes,
you literally wanted him about a month ago.
No. I changed my mind though. I don't want him anymore. I don't want him.
It's not you can have him.
You can have him.
They're the lengthiest.
Although I would say I might trade Tobias Harris for Gary Harris. I think that would help our team.
He's the lengthiest. They're the lengthiest team in the league, and no matter what, if they get a 3-ball rolling with Embiid and Richardson, their shooting guard, it's over.
Right. Just so you know, the teams that you're talking about that we should be worried about, we beat them this year.
I know.
We beat the Sixers.
And I'm saying when it comes to a 7-game series, there's things to be worried about. There's weaknesses.
Yeah. For 4 of those games, they're going to be crying because they're weak. And we are strong. Okay? I don't like all this negatron from you about my Nuggets. Right?
I'm not being
sounds
negative.
Like you're not
I'm talking
sounds
about
like you're
the
not
NBA.
A real Nuggets fan. It sounds
like I'm a realistic
whatever.
NBA fan.
I can't take you right now. All right, NFL. We are more than halfway through the NFL season. The Saints,
and we will
Saints
not
are
be
for
talking
real.
about my Broncos.
Yeah, that's too bad. Although they're on the blow for Burrow. Is that what it is?
Tank for Tua, tank for Trevor.
What are you doing for Joe? Blow for Joe.
That's not appropriate.
No, that's not good. Blow up, like explode, like be bad. What's another way to say that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We would have to look up.
For Joe. What if it's for Joe? No more wins for Joe.
That's what the Bengals are doing. They're about to go 0-16.
I have said to you, Justice, that if Joe Burrow gets drafted by the Broncos in particular, then that's it. I'm going to be a Broncos fan, and we're getting DirecTV. Like, that's how serious I am about it. I love that man. Okay, so let's see. Just right now, off the dome, who's in the Super Bowl? Your prediction.
I would love to say the Ravens make it, but Lamar in the playoffs, I cannot trust. I haven't seen it yet. Give me one more year to see it. Patriots, and then I'm going to throw it out. It's going to be a great year for Louisiana. But the 49ers are going to make it.
Saints, Ravens. That's what it's going to be. All right. MVP, Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. No, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's having a great season.
A better season than Lamar Jackson?
He's thrown 30 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
So is that better?
I believe so. Lamar Jackson's going to win it because of his flashiness and how the Ravens play and how electric it is to watch that. But overall, I think the best quarterback in the league right now is Russell Wilson.
All right, so that's all the sports that you've missed from us since we've been gone. I think the most important thing that's happened in pop culture since we have been away from this podcast is the release of Jesus is King by Kanye West.
Which was delayed for 2 months.
Yeah. I was one of those people that saw the tweet that the record is coming out tonight at midnight. I was one of those people that stayed up till midnight and waited for it. And then I was also one of those people on Twitter making comments about telling Kanye, I know you're a Christian now, but lying is a sin. I was one of those people. Like, I know you don't know this yet because you just became a Christian, but you've been lying, Playboy. But it was worth the wait. Oh, my soul, it was worth the wait. I think it is a terrific short album.
It was very short.
I mean,
it was only like 8 songs. I mean, my favorite song on the album is a minute 24.
Which one is that?
Goes on Sundays.
That's not a minute 24. It's longer than that. It's like,
no, it's a minute 24.
It's like 3 minutes. Because they got the whole second half. They got the whole second half.
It's a minute 24.
My favorite one is Follow God. Life like. This is what your life like. Screaming at my dad and he told me it ain't Christ-like. It reminds me of you. Love that album. Really, really excited for it. Here's my stance on it because I know people have opinions on Kanye and really on the church. I mean, this past Sunday, he did an interview on Sunday morning with Joel Osteen at their Gigantor church in Houston. Yeah. And then he did a Sunday service, which the whole thing is
just worship songs.
Is on YouTube. You can watch the whole thing, and I did. The choir is just unreal. I just want a choir I want a choir to follow me everywhere I go. Like if I went to Chick-fil-A to make an order at Chick-fil-A, I want them to say, and the number one with the lemonade, no ice. Like I need that. They would say Coke Zero though. Keep it real. But so here's my thought. So one of the greatest evangelists that has ever lived was one of the greatest sinners that has ever lived. A brother named Saul became the Apostle Paul. Do I think Kanye is going to become the Apostle Paul? I don't know. Here's what I know. People who have not ever considered Jesus in their life because they like Kanye and like his music, or because they hate Kanye and want to listen to it, which that happened a lot, listen to that album. And they heard truth from the Word of God. And the Bible says that His Word never returns void. People heard about Jesus' salvation, and they were confronted with the reality of the Bible. And to me, that's worth the price of admission. But also, at every Sunday service concert that they're doing, they are inviting people to come to Christ. And people are coming to Christ in droves. People that may never have in any other way. So say what you want to say about Kanye's legitimacy. Is it possible that in 3 years he puts out a record about hoes and, big booties and whatever else? Is it possible that he does that? Yeah, it's possible. Everybody is, human. But in this season of his life, the impact that he's making by being honest about his journey. And that's the thing. I think he's being honest about his experience in accepting Christ as his Savior. And I think it's amazing. And I think, I think we should pray for him. I really do. If you're a believer, I think you should not throw rocks at it. I think you should pray for him because God can do amazing things. the word says that he uses the weak, right? And that he confounds the wise. And I think that that's what this is. He is confounding the wise. So rock on, Kanye. Let me know when I can get a guest verse.
Is Kim Kardashian Christian now?
That's curious, isn't it?
Are their children Christian now?
I don't know. Well, he's raising his kids Christian, as he talks about.
Yeah, and apparently he has like screen time restrictions now.
Yeah.
Because he's Christian. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's only people that watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians will know.
Yeah. Who knows? That'd be amazing to see that. All right, so that's a big deal. And then this will lead to our movie of the week, which it's really not a movie of the week. It's something different, but I think it's culturally substantial. It's kind of one of those monoculture moments where this is kind of the one big show that everybody's talking about. And that is a show that was launched last week through Disney Plus. Disney Plus is this monolith app that has sort of that I think is going to be the rival for Netflix in the years to come, especially for moms and dads with little ones.
If they can absorb NBC or something, it's over.
Well, ABC is likely, because ABC and Disney I can't remember who owns who. I think Disney owns
53% or 43%.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, Disney Plus is incredible if you've been on it. If you have little ones, I mean, it spans the ages of Disney movies. There's stuff on there that was
from the 20s.
It's crazy what's on that app. So anyway, we're going to talk this week about a movie of the week, and our movie of the week this week is not a movie, it's a show, and it's called The Mandalorian.
The movie of the week.
Movies, see the movies. Old stuff and the newbies. Movies, see the movies. Fight Club at the movies. Movies, see the movies. Don't sleep on the Goonies. Movies, see the movies. Old stuff and the newbies. Movies. Movies.
The movie of the week.
Yeah, so the movie of the week this week is The Mandalorian. It's not really a movie, but it was, well, not even really as long as a movie. I mean, the first episode was like 40 minutes. The second one was like 30 or something, right?
Yeah.
So it's a Star Wars original series. It seems to be somewhat outside of the time frame of any of the...
Well, it's right after the Empire. So the Empire's just fallen.
Yeah, see, I'm not good at this. I'm not like a Star Wars nerd. I'm like a super casual Star Wars fan.
So it's after number 6.
No, it can't be, because Yoda was grown.
That's not Yoda.
That's Yoda.
No, this is...
Okay, we've already given away.
This is Yoda's species.
That's Yoda.
That's not Yoda.
That's baby Yoda.
That's a baby creature.
Who told you that?
It's pretty obvious because
It's not obvious.
This is right after the Empire, which is when Yoda was an old man. So it has to be the same species as Yoda, but not Yoda.
Well, we're going to find out, because I think you're wrong. I actually think that it's...
No, because of the time frame.
They didn't tell us anything.
No, they did. They said when he was trying to get money, they gave him the money from the Empire, but he said this doesn't work anymore. They're rolling out Empire money, so he needed the new money.
Wow! So it's not Yoda.
It's not Yoda.
The whole time I thought that was Yoda.
Wow.
Spoiler alert: there's a baby Yoda. That was the big reveal at the end of episode 1. So we've already ruined the show for you if you haven't seen it. There's a baby Yoda creature. I still believe. What if it's Yoda reincarnated? What if it's reincarnated Yoda?
Did he die at the end of 6?
I don't know if anybody's alive or dead. I don't keep up with Star Wars like that. I don't do that. That's not my thing.
You were the one that made me go see the 7th one.
Right. Yes, because I'm a completist, and because that's important cinema in our days. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 8th wasn't.
8 was not great,
It was terrible.
but 9 is going to be.
I have low expectations.
That's probably best.
That's probably the best thing this film can offer.
Yeah.
Low expectations.
So I don't know how much time we should spend on The Mandalorian because we've only seen two episodes of it. Here's what I'll say. Jon Favreau is a really good director. He directed the original Iron Man. He directed a lot of those Marvel movies. He's made that live-action Jungle Book movie. The guy is a really strong director. It's kind of bugging me. I'm just going to give you all my thoughts. It's bugging me that we don't get to see the Mandalorian, dude.
Well, that's sort of what a Mandalorian is.
I understand, but it's just a helmet. Take the helmet off and let me see your face once in a while.
Well, it's his religion.
At some point, you got to brush your teeth.
It's his religion, dude.
Even in space, teeth got to get brushed. Right? How you going to brush your teeth? Huh?
It's space. You don't need to worry
Okay, hold on
about
a second. When he takes his helmet off, if he's got a manicured beard, right? If he's got a beard that's like obviously kept up with, then the whole show is a lie. If he takes off his helmet and his hair is crazy and this beard is like crazy and his
You're
teeth,
never going to see
and
his
his
face.
teeth are black, how does he eat? When does he eat? You can't eat through that helmet. The helmet comes off once in a while, my G. Let me see it. He sleeps in the helmet?
Yes.
Really? He puts on his pajamas, never takes the helmet off.
Look, these are questions you can ask the internet.
The internet?
The internet.
I'd rather net. So these are some things that irritated me about it so far.
Here's the thing. I think what they've done without showing his face is amazing. The fact that they haven't showed his face and I've felt emotion out of him is incredible.
All I felt from him was irritation. The whole time he's like, hey, put it down. Give me the gun. I don't like droids. That's not good money. I want money. I want to kill someone. Someone should die. What emotion? There's no emotion.
Yeah, I mean, what?
My nose itches.
What I mean,
I can't
like,
scratch my nose.
At the end of the first episode, when he touched the baby Yoda species thing.
Yeah, that's Yoda.
Now,
Don't.
I feel like that was real emotion when he killed the droid.
No, he touched him, and there was a thought bubble that said, "One day I'm going to murder you." That's what he thought.
I mean, probably, but I mean, like, it's still some character development.
Mm-hmm. Nick Nolte was good in it. That's my last thought. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's really well made. If you like Star Wars, you're going to love it. The creatures are fun. It feels, I'll tell you what I will say. It feels like it's its own thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's trying to be anything else than what it is. And for that, I would give it high praise. Because I think in a world like Star Wars, there's so much pressure. Like Solo, for example. Solo's a great example of, you could tell that the writer, director, producer of Solo, they were handcuffed to making a movie that had to live within a certain time frame, a certain galaxy, a certain tone. And so they couldn't make it its own thing, you know?
Yeah.
But this feels like its own thing, and I think that's cool.
I mean, they've only mentioned the main time frame in one scene where they're talking about his money.
Yeah.
So.
How do they end up with Germans in space?
That's not German. That's a made-up.
The guy that was the German that was telling the man that the empire is about to fall, and he talks like that guy.
I think
he's German.
There might be an accent, but
or
I think
Austrian.
it's racist.
What?
You're assuming his. I don't know.
German's not a race.
Yes, it is.
It's a people. It's a country.
Tell Hitler that.
Oh, I'm not talking to Hitler for any reason. I'm not even going to look at him.
Okay.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on the show?
I think it's very well done. I think the way that they do storytelling without saying words for 10 minutes.
Yeah, that put me to sleep.
It's very interesting and a new approach. And I like it in some stances. But if I was watching this at 12, I would definitely go to sleep.
At 12?
Because the teenager's time frame is 2 hours behind. So, like, your mental clock is 8:36. Mine is about 6:36.
Uh-huh.
So I can't, like, you get tired around 9 or so.
Uh-huh.
A normal adult human.
I don't.
You're not normal. You're special.
I'm nocturnal, though.
So, like, Mom, she goes to bed at 9.
Yeah.
My mental clock says go to bed at 11. I get drowsy at 11.
Uh-huh.
So that's...
I don't understand the point you're making at all.
I'm saying, like, if I was watching this at 11:35, I would fall asleep.
I think anybody would.
I believe that's true.
Unless you were all hopped up on Mountain Dew, Chip. Okay, so what you're saying is younger kids might find it a little sleepy, a little boring.
Yeah, I mean, I like it just because I'm nerd. I'm a sports nerd, movie nerd, TV nerd. Love it.
Yeah.
Not so much a TV nerd. I don't watch a lot of TV.
You don't. That's good. You don't need to.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you recommend it?
Yeah.
Okay, me too. 2 episodes in.
If you have Disney Plus, if you don't have Disney Plus, don't get your free month yet because it's only 2 episodes.
Well, I don't know. If you already have Hulu and you have kids, I would say get Disney Plus because if you get the little package, you get ESPN Plus with it for like $13 a month. That's pretty cheap.
Which I love, by the
So you get Hulu, Disney, and ESPN Plus for $13 a month. Now you don't get ESPN for that. Like if you've cut the cord and you don't have cable, you don't get ESPN.
No, you can get it.
That's a separate thing though.
Yeah.
The ESPN Plus is its own thing. It's not.
Well, you can get it with Hulu because Hulu you get to watch live TV.
certain episodes,
No,
times.
you can watch all the ESPN on most days.
Yeah, certain ones they bar. But anyway, I would say go for it. I think Mandalorian's really, really good. So, I'm trying to get us through this because I know this is going to be a long episode because we've been away for so long. So let's move on to what I really have always loved this segment. It's been my favorite segment of every episode that we do of the Fike Club because I love to watch you, Justice, develop and grow and become a young man. And I've seen a lot of growth in you, in your character, in these last 2 or 3 months. I think football really has been an environment where not just your body was tested and grown, but your character was tested and grown. And so I say all that to say every week on the Fight Club podcast, we do something every millennia. Every
July.
That's right. We do something where we give you an opportunity, Justice, to brag on someone who has taught you something that you're going to hold on to. And we call it the Stroop Award.
Stroop, baby, Stroop, baby, Stroop, Sister World is coming. Stroop, baby, Stroop, Sister Stroop, Sister World is coming. Stroop.
All right, buddy. So you've had a lot of time since July 6th to learn some things. So talk to us. What is the lesson you've learned? Who taught it to you? Who is getting the coveted, cherished Stroop Award?
So, as a freshman, I am in this case scenario where I am learning new things at a constant rate. And one of the classes where I've learned the most has been biology. And learning about cell membranes and photosynthesis has been amazing. So for this, Mr. King, you have won the Mrs. Stroop Award.
Okay, so wait a second. So what you're telling me is, I just talked you up this whole time. I just talked you up and said, man, your character has grown. You're developing as a person.
Before you
and you drop photosynthesis on me here?
Okay, do you want me to...
You think when you're 38 years old, you're going to be thinking about photosynthesis?
Well, here's the thing. There was a case scenario where I didn't know you were going to talk me up. And I was thinking, all right, we're going to go into Mrs. Stroop segment. All right. And then he said, this is my favorite segment. I love this segment. I love seeing the growth you've done. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, but all I have is Mr. King. So I was going to make an audible and say Coach Flowers and all of our football staff, our wonderful football staff. But Just went with what was on the script.
Okay, so photosynthesis is one thing, but tell me about Mr. King. What makes him a good teacher? Why are you enjoying the way he challenges you? Is there a certain kind of methodology that he's using that's different than other teachers you've had that is effective?
Mr. King is a wonderful teacher. His only downfall is he's a Texas A&M Aggie. And that's his only downfall. But I get a free root beer out of it.
So, Mr. King, if you're listening to this, they're not saying whoop they're not going whoop. They're saying stroop. Or just so you know, on the song that we're listening to, they're not saying whoop. Okay? They're saying stroop. I don't want you to think that we changed it for you because we didn't. All right, keep going.
All right, and he's taught me very well about cell membranes and how to read the little thingies on the back of your chip bag or whatever. The proteins, carbs, carbohydrates, or proteins, carbs, lipids, and that stuff.
Tell me more about that.
There's this thing called protein.
I know what they are, but like when you say you've learned about them, you've learned what about them?
I've learned how to look at it and how to analyze it and understand it.
So you haven't learned how to analyze it. You've learned how to analyze it.
Okay, are we gonna go on my grammar right now?
Well,
because your grammar's also been terrible.
It's obvious we're not talking about your English teacher right now.
I don't know what you're talking about. I just did a Ron Swanson paper, so I don't know what I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay, so Mr. King, he's a really strong teacher. He's pushing you.
He's also very sarcastic.
And you like that?
I do. Even though in some circumstances I'm like, is this the answer or is this the answer? And then he gives me hints. But the fun part is on quizzes and tests, he usually helps us out a lot. And I love that about him. And he helps us do better in his class. And that is very helpful towards me.
Right on, man. Cool. All right. So, Mr. King, thank you. Thank you for teaching my son about photosynthesis and about learning how to analyze the back of Frito chips, and for being sarcastic, and for watching your Aggies lose in 2 weeks to my Tigers.
And also for giving me a free root beer on that Monday.
Oh, you have a bet with your teacher?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Does SCS know about this?
Yeah.
They know that you're betting with your teachers?
I don't think they care.
Wow.
I was going to make a bet with Coach Christensen since he's an Arkansas fan.
Oh, he didn't want it.
But he was like, why would I do that when I already know they're going to lose?
Well, but I mean, the bet could be, are we going to cover the spread? Because it's like a 44-point spread.
I don't think we would cover it, so I wouldn't make that bet.
I think we will. All right. Well, man, Mr. King, you get the award. We're grateful for you, and we hope that you really appreciate the fact that you really are making an impact in my son's life and in mine, because he's teaching me things about photosynthesis and about the back of Fritos chips bags.
Oh, yeah, and then we also learned about glycolysis, which is the fancy word for food, and that's C6H12O6.
Whoa.
And then we also learned the formula to digest food, which is CO2, O2, G6H12O6, H2O.
Okay. I thought it was Chipotle, Cane's, Chick-fil-A, toilet.
Mom's food.
Toilet. That's how you digest food. Is that not? Does
Close.
C6 stand for 6 Chipotle burritos?
Almost.
Oh, okay. All right. Rock on, man. All right. Well, now it's time for us to finish our podcast with what can sometimes be the part of our show that just goes off the rails, and that is the question game. So we are going to answer some of your questions in just a moment.
And I have a question for everybody here tonight.
Asking all these questions, why you asking all these questions? Asking all these questions, why you asking all these questions? Asking all these questions, why you ask so many questions?
Hey, let me ask you something.
I got a question.
Let the games begin.
Okay, Justice, this is not a listener question. This is a dad question that I want to ask you. One of the things that we we missed talking about that I didn't put in the rundown on purpose because I didn't want to prep you for it.
That's rude.
Is get up on the mic here. Is in the fall, September,
Yes.
October, was the launch of 2 new wrestling shows. AEW, which is a new show that's owned by Tony Khan, who's the owner of the
Jacksonville Jaguars.
But
One of the richest men in the world.
But it's run by Cody Rhodes, who is the son of Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, baby. And then, as soon as that was announced that it was going to be put out on TV on Wednesday nights on TNT, WWE decided to put NXT on USA at the same time slot to compete with AEW.
Not the same time slot. NXT goes on about a half hour
Same
later.
night, but the point is they're competing with each other. Now, when we talked about AEW earlier in the year, you were all in on AEW. AEW is the best thing that's happened to wrestling since sliced bread. AEW is going to destroy WWE. It's going to be the dominant brand.
I never said anything. I
Hold
said
on.
it
Wait a
has
minute.
potential.
It's going to be the dominant brand is the phrase that you use.
I said it shows potential, and I liked the John Moxley
I don't
signing.
care. That doesn't matter what. It doesn't. My question to you is, we're a month and a half into this thing, 2 months into it. How do you feel about professional wrestling now?
As a whole, or AEW?
It's kind of like the state of wrestling. How are you feeling about it?
Raw's boring, SmackDown's boring. NXT shows promise. I really want them to get all this Survivor Series done. Let them really excel in building characters, and then I'll feel confident in them beating AEW. But AEW, it's hit or miss every segment. It's a 50-50 ball. And some of them miss, and I mean a lot of them miss. But that's what you expect from a new company. NXT's been going on for 4 or 5 years now. So you expect them to have great wrestling. Their tag team segments have been one of a kind, best tag team segments, I would say, of this decade that I've got to see. I came into wrestling 2015-ish, so I haven't got to see them all. But I feel like that's the best tag team. MJF has been a star. Chris Jericho and the Inner Circle have been amazing. I don't like how every end of an episode ends with a brawl. That's boring. Let's get some actual wrestling in here. I love how they have the records. I feel like that's a definite thing. That's a lot better than anything WWE does.
What you're talking about is that they say, like, this guy is 11-2 or this guy is 4-7.
It really legitimizes it.
Which is like at WWE, you never know. You would never know what anybody's record is.
Yeah.
And they have so many like DQs and count outs, whatever.
So I really like it, and also it hasn't had a really dumb segment where Hell in a Cell ends in a DQ. So
yeah, that was the low point, I think, of wrestling in 2019.
Yeah, in the last 10 years, I would say.
That's you don't know that, but okay. So
I mean, what
at this
what's a lower
trajectory, where do you think? How do you think things will play out in the next 2 years?
As time goes on, AEW is going to get a set number of viewers. I would say from the 800K range to about the 1.1 mil. Depends on how good these next 2 years are for them. If they build reliable characters, if the wrestling is fantastic. NXT has the capability from going, I would say, 750 to about 900 in the next 2 years. It's about the 3 to 4 that I say when poaching starts to happen, and when WWE starts to throw them big contract, that possibly could go into a different area. But I would say in the next 2 years, it's a level playing field. In the end, it's just going to be great wrestling.
Okay.
The thing that really could change it, though, is these pay-per-views. If NXT doesn't, or not NXT, but I know in our family we're not going to pay $50 to see a pay-per-view every month.
No way.
I'm not going to do it. I will watch the weekly shows as much as I want, but I'm not buying a pay-per-view. So if they can get into a subscription thing, I think it could end up working.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be as advantageous as the WWE network is, you know?
If they could get a thing to create a super network with maybe New Japan or Ring of Honor, or like any other indie stuff.
Yeah.
I think could be
if you really want to be connected to the indie scene. I feel like watching AEW is like going to see a middle school musical. Like a really, really good middle school musical. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's about as good as it's going to be.
I feel like there's a lot of problems. But I feel like give it time. Some of those problems are going to get fixed. Definitely not all of them. But I think NXT is the better show. I think NXT will always be the better show. I just feel like there's going to be a more devoted fan base. Because right now, NXT is the third brand. Well, it should be the first brand, but it's the third brand.
NXT is unhinged. It's not... It can be whatever it's going to be because they're developing. The whole point of the show is to develop stars. So they develop
I don't think it is anymore.
They develop a star, he gets big, he goes to the main roster.
And then he fails.
Well, that's what's happened a lot.
I mean, the best...
Who do you think... I guess Seth Rollins would be the most successful.
Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Finn Balor. Those are your three best people to come out.
Kevin Owens.
I guess.
Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess the 4 Horsewomen then, yeah.
I think Becky Lynch, you could argue that she is the most successful star to come out of NXT. Because she's like on SportsCenter commercials and you know, like she's a big star.
She's the face.
Yeah. All right, well we'll keep up with that. Do you have any questions you want to ask me?
No, I was not expecting. I thought we were going straight to people.
All right, well let me give you this question that came from Lauren. Lauren says, guys, would you rather have a parachute fail or a bungee cord fail?
Bungee cord, because if I'm on the way down, the chances are if it breaks, I'm pretty close to the water. So I'm going to go with the bungee cord because the chances of me dying at that point very low. But if I'm falling out of a helicopter or a plane and my parachute fails, it's instant death. There's still a chance I live with the water.
You know, this is the thing though. So if you have a bungee cord fail, when does it fail? Like, if you come down, does it bounce once, bounce twice, and then it disconnects and you die?
No, it would bounce on the way down.
Like, as soon as you hit the contact point where you're supposed to bounce,
yeah, that's where it would break.
Snaps and you fall.
That would be where it breaks.
So you're going to die from that.
No, because it would stop and then break.
No. You're going to die from that. Because as soon as you come down, you're coming down. The moment where it's supposed to snap, instead of it snapping up, it breaks. You hit the ground. You're dead.
Well, here's another thing. For the parachute, because you know how parachutes end up with an emergency thing?
Yeah.
Is the emergency thing broken?
No, he's saying, would you rather die on a bungee cord fail or a parachute fail? And so you're saying the emergency isn't working? No, it's not going to work. Yeah.
Then yes, of course I want to do a bungee cord because it's going to be like a split second.
You're not going to know.
I'm not going to know. But if I'm like, oh no, my parachute's broken. No.
But what about this? What if you had like some secret sin in your life that you've been holding on to for a long time? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You pull that parachute and you know, I've got 3 minutes to get right with God.
I'm not spending those 3 minutes getting right with God.
You better, because you're about to see him.
No, I'm being honest. I would be not a good Christian boy when I'm about to die.
What would you be doing?
Probably a lot of cursing.
They say that when you're flying down, you know, like it's super peaceful.
Not when you're about to die.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the thing. Like, if
people who have to go to the emergency, freak out.
Let me ask you this.
They end up with piss.
Let me ask you this. Don't say. Let me ask you this: Would you rather survive a parachute failure and like never be able to walk again, or would you rather just die?
No, you can survive a bungee cord. I don't think you get
There
it.
have been documented cases of people surviving parachute fails.
That's a very special circumstance. Here's what I'm saying. There's a higher chance of you not dying from a bungee cord than dying from jumping at like 2,000, 3,000 feet in the air onto the ground.
I think I would rather die parachute style.
Because you want another 3 minutes to live. I don't want to know I'm about to die. Because that's when I start freaking out.
Okay, let me ask you
and
this.
I would rather have my final moments be happy instead of,
Yeah, now let me ask you this question. Parachute has failed you. You know you're going to die. Do you go face first or do you go like looking up at the sky and just... Because that way you don't know when you're going to hit. Like if you go...
No, I'm not... No,
if you go back first, would you go back first so that you wouldn't know when the ground's going to hit? And it would just like... Because as soon as you hit, you're dead.
Yeah. I would go feet first.
Feet first?
Because there's a better chance of me not... Because there's a better chance if I go feet first, I land on my feet, everything from here to here breaks.
Yeah.
But my spine is still somewhat intact.
The whole thing's cracking. The velocity is going to...
Yeah, but in my mind, it's probably the best idea. But it depends. If there's like a special like blue mat, because usually now they have like those blue mats sort of where like you're supposed to land,
Right.
sort of.
Yeah.
I would try and swim over to that. But you can't swim in the sky.
You can direct yourself, though.
Yeah. I would like try and like move my hips to get over there, but probably wouldn't happen.
Yeah. I think I'd go back first.
Well, here's the thing. You always have a second person with you.
Nuh-uh.
Usually.
That's called a tandem jump. You don't always have a tandem jump.
Well, no, you have a second person coming with you, like, down.
Yeah, but his parachute already went off. He's up in the air watching you die.
That must suck. Imagine if we're just going parachuting and then my parachute breaks and you're just like, no!
Yeah, so you say bungee cord.
I say bungee cord because that would give me a second.
Either way you die, but at least for that one you didn't know you were going to die.
Yeah. I died having fun with my final moments.
Yeah.
I agree. Having
But
time with God.
you died with a
would've been
secret sin
amazing.
in your heart, just so you know.
Well,
And when you get to heaven, you're going to have to account for it.
I would, but here's the thing. It says in the Bible, not all sins are equal. So even if I did a little white lie beforehand, it would be the same.
Is there anything you'd like to confess to the Lord and the listeners right now? So that just in case you fall out of a parachute on the way down after this podcast, that you'll be all
Would you
set.
like to say anything first?
No, I asked you the question first there, Geronimo. Is there anything you'd want to say?
Is there anything you would like to say?
No. You don't answer a question with a question. You could say no, there's nothing I want to confess.
I would have to think on it. But now...
You would have to think on it?
Right now, I don't think there's anything.
Well, that's good. That's good.
What about you?
I would say that all of my sin in my life, I talk about it with God all the time.
Yeah.
I don't change a whole lot. I just tell him, hey, I got this sin in my life. I want it to not be there. Can you help? You know?
And he's like, you have to do it yourself.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway. So, man, we got back in the saddle. We're talking about doing Thursdays.
Yep.
There's some good movies coming out.
21 Bridges.
21 Bridges. We're going to watch that.
Try and get that out for you on your Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. Knives Out looks good.
Yeah, that one looks good.
Some good movies coming out. So we'll look forward to getting back in the rhythm and getting back on the mics for you guys. Please make sure and subscribe, like, and share. Make sure and send us your questions. If you've listened this long, then you're a fan, and we love you. So send us your questions at thefikeclub@gmail.com. You can tweet us at thefikeclub. You could Instagram us at thefikeclub. I don't know how any of that works, but you could try.
I got it.
Justice runs all that. We love you guys, and we really love each other, don't we, buddy?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's fun to talk.
Ow.
That's okay. So that's the sin that you have to confess on the way down. That you just lied about your love for your father.
I'm kidding.
What a hurtful way to end the podcast.
Wow, I'm kidding.
On that note,
I love you so much. You are a fantastic father. I'm so happy you didn't go get the milk.
get the milk.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
It's a joke.
Oh, like I'm going to get the milk and then I never come back?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Man, just a dark... See, this is why you don't need to see the Joker. Your heart is already dark enough. Hey, we love you guys. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much for listening. God bless you guys. Peace.